Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Of course, the challenge is to cram learning and teaching into 1 hour. That's very difficult. It's often said that if you are asked to speak for 2 days, you may have a lot going on. However, you'll find preparing for it is easier than preparing for a 30-minute talk or even a 1-hour presentation. Are we all active teachers in this room? Yes? So I think you know how it feels when you are told you have 1 hour to teach compared to 20 minutes to teach. When you hear 20 minutes, you shout, ah! When you hear 1 hour, you shout, ah! But for different reasons. So what we are going to do today is try and run through as quickly as we can. The topic for the talk today, rediscovering teaching and learning. Initially, I called it redefining. But as I was going through the topic and the content, and I was thinking, and I was reading and reflecting, I realized it's not redefining. We have actually just lost touch with what teaching and learning really constitutes. So it's rediscovering teaching and learning. That's what I believe we are trying to do today. Teach, if I'm to simplify what teaching is, to teach is to give. It's to present the content. It's to lay it down. It's to put it in front of your students. While to learn is to receive the content, to pick it up, to do something with it. When you think of the generally accepted mode of lesson plans, you see what the teacher will do and what the student will do. Everything under teacher is the teaching part. Everything under what students will do, that's the learning part. The teacher's role, given all the changes that we have had to deal with in recent times, we've also had to rediscover what is the role of a teacher. I remember when we had to go into lockdown, and at first the idea was we would not even be able to do anything. That learning cannot take place because teaching cannot take place. The fear was, how on earth do you teach students when they are not with you? They're at home, miles away, scattered all over the place. You are teaching, and there is one popular series the child wants to catch up on, going on online. You are using a device. Maybe you are using Zoom, for instance, and the child is also busy, has left you and the rest of the class and has gone for yawo on the internet. So for many of us, we had to sit back and say, what is teaching and what is learning? What is the role of a teacher, therefore? What we are used to is this kind of setting. We bring the children into the classroom. We make them sit in certain ways. We make them do specific things at specific times. We even time them. It's enough, pens up and all of that. We had to redefine it. Now that for many of us, we are able to go back to normal schooling, some of us have dropped everything we have learned from the lockdown and from teaching online, while some of us took the lessons from there and brought those lessons back into our teaching. So in a sense, we are actually better off for having had that experience of trying to teach, trying to make learning happen during the lockdown. So the teacher's role, redefined or rediscovered, takes many things and then selects and sorts them out. What is valuable, what is worth putting forward, classifies these things. So one of the things we've learned to do is to become curators. Curators of content and resources, and to present the content and resources. The other thing that we've had to do is guide students to pick them up, to pick up the content and pick up the resources. To design the learning experience, we've become designers of learning experiences. What will our students see during this entire period or class or whatever you call it? And you understand as we go on why I'm not using class or lesson. I'm talking about learning experience. What will they see? What will they hear? What will they feel? What will they touch? And which part of their bodies will they move? And where will they go? That entire experience, we have to become designers of the experience. When we are drafting or crafting our lessons, when you are writing your lesson plan, you are actually designing a learning experience. It's just today we want to talk about that designing aspect. Because most of the time we use templates. Those of us that have taught a specific subject for several years, we don't even use templates anymore. You just take the old lesson plan, take a new notebook, you just copy and paste everything. Now that technology is helping us, it's very easy. You just go to the year. Instead of 2019, 2020, you write 2020, 2021. Finish. If you're a designer, that will no longer be enough. Because you will become cognizant of the fact that your pupils have changed, life has changed, time has shifted. We provide content for use of knowledge and skills. Because this is what we are targeting, knowledge and skills. So we provide the content that the students will use those knowledge and skills to interact with. Then we support and we stretch our students. We support them as we stretch them. So when we tell them do A, they do A very well. We say now do A1. A1 is a higher level, more difficult, it's new. We stretch them. But we also support them. How many of us are familiar with the word scaffolding? Scaffolding. How many of us are familiar with the word? Just show of hands. Okay. Scaffold. That's interesting. So let me slow down and talk about scaffolding. Let's picture construction sites where they are building something. Maybe a building that has more than one level. Or they are working inside a single level, but they want to work on the ceiling or the roof. You know that thing they build so that they can put planks, then climb on top? That's a scaffold. Its job is to support the person doing the work so the person can reach higher. So you know construction scaffolding. Now, educational scaffolding is where you deliberately say, my students can achieve A. Now I want them to do A1. Then you sit down, you ask yourself, what skills do they lack? The skills between A and A1. What are those skills? You take those skills, you break them down into smaller bits. Then you present them with the learning experience that will help them acquire the smaller bits step by step by step. That's your scaffolding. Before they even do A1, they have to see somebody who already knows how to do A1 doing A1. There are many terms for it. The term I like to use is they have to see samples of excellence or samples of expertise. They see. Then you tell them, now you've seen it, I would like you to try. As they are trying, the experts, now the expert could be you, it could be another resource person. The expert is also doing it with them and saying, no, 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 stop, go back, repeat. No, not like that. So if it's mathematics, you can easily tell how the expert will do it. You missed an X. The X is supposed to cross over. You will do all of that. If it's something like foods and nutrition and their process is in cake making, you would say, no, remember I showed you, you don't turn this way, you turn that way. This is not how you need. Stop, let me show you again. Now that's scaffolding. Because they've seen the expert, now they are trying with the support of an expert. After that stage, the next stage is you say, you know what, you do it. And I will watch you. And as the person is doing it, the expert takes note of what is right, what is wrong. When the child has reached a certain level, expert says, okay, you did this well, you didn't do that well. Now repeat. And this time, I will not say a word. When you are done, okay, let's now review. That's scaffolding. So when you say support and stretch, you scaffold because you are stretching them. If you stretch them without support, what will happen? Children learning to walk, they need support. If they don't have support, they just go splat. Give qualitative feedback. Qualitative feedback means I'm going to tell you exactly what you did well, exactly what you didn't do well. I will describe it. I won't say bravo. How many of us like it? Bravo! Bad work. You've not taught me. You've just told me what you think about my work, but you haven't taught me. What could you do instead of saying bravo? Teachers in the house, let's try. Instead of bravo, what could you write instead? Use your own subject as an example. What would you write? Don't be shy.
Good attempt.
Good attempt. It's in the same category as bravo. Excellent, same category. Try again, same category. You can do better. Thank you. I don't know how to do better. Good work. Well done. But how do I know what to repeat tomorrow? Yes, but let's take what we know we do mostly, which is right. Now let me try. Instead of bravo, let's use English, essay writing, paragraphing. Every paragraph should hold an idea. Not a good idea to put two ideas in one paragraph. So if your child paragraphs well, don't just say you paragraphed your essay well. Say you were able to separate your ideas into paragraphs. Bravo. If your struggle has been the child will finish the entire calculation, then forget the centimeter, which we know mathematically that answer is wrong. Now the child, after coaching, reminding, supporting, samples of excellence shown, gets that right. You say, you remembered to put your centimeter at the end. Well done. Yesterday, you remembered to put your centimeter at the end. Today, you forgot. You can do better. That is qualitative feedback. What have I done well? Be very specific. Tell me. Because this is how students know what to repeat and what not to repeat. I remember once when I was very little, in the evening, I won't forget that day, there was no light. I can't remember if it's the gas lamp or the kerosene lamp that was on, but I still remember there was no light. We were crowded around the dining table. My mom was coaching my siblings, preparing them for entrance exam, I think. Because usually that's when she will now hype up the coaching. So the rest of us just crowded around. And then we started gisting about what had happened in school. Then I now mentioned that the moi moi from Mama Sado's shop is very sweet. And I also mentioned how I knew. My friend bought and gave me some, and I ate. The next thing I knew was it bazam. Can't remember if it was head or back. Till today. I don't know why, oh. I remember this incident recently, and I'll be traveling home soon, inshallah. I think I will ask my mother, Mommy, do you remember? What was the issue? I had to go and sit there in my own child's brain and say, maybe my fault, why she smacked me was, I was gisting about it. Later I said, maybe she felt, why did you go and beg for moi moi? Or, she doesn't want us eating moi moi from Mama Sado's shop. But we buy fish pie from the shop. She has no problem. I didn't know what was wrong. So you know what I did? What do you think I decided I will never do again? I will never tell.
Just about it.
I won't just about it. It's safer. Since there are 3 things I could have done wrong, the one that revealed all the matter, I won't do it again. I will ask my mom, don't worry, inshallah. Then if you ever see me, ask me, did I get the answer? But you know what I'm guessing? She won't remember. She won't remember. I hit you. Why? She might say, I don't know. I don't remember. She might even argue it wasn't me. I didn't hit you. But I remember. As my sister once said, permit me to use pidgin. She said, the person where you do something go remember. You where you do and you don't forget. So when you learn to teach well, to support, to stretch, to play your role as a teacher, you will forget all you've done. But your learners will not forget. Now let's look at these pictures. Where am I starting from? Hold on, let me and technology get on the same page. Yawa. What's going on here? Coaching with his junior footballers. What do we think he's saying? Look at the picture. Give yourselves think time of 10 seconds. Don't talk until 10 seconds have passed. What do you think the coach might be saying? And you have to use the right voice to say it. What is he saying? Do as I do. Okay, possibly. What else do you think he might be saying? Directive. Give us a sentence to back it up. Look at this. So look at. No. If we put a speech bubble here, what should I write inside? Look at what I'm doing. Watch me. Teamwork is best. Good teamwork. Play according to instructions. All right, good. So let's go to the next picture. You can see a fellow here is lifting weights. This is a man lifting weights, and this is his coach. What do you think the coach is saying? Hold it well. What do you think the coach is saying?
Try it, you can make it.
Try it, you can make it.
More effort.
More effort. Harder. What else? What is he saying? Give us words.
You can do more better.
You can do better. All right, keep trying. And here, we know this is what? Boxing. This is between rounds. Oh yeah, what do you think this coach is saying to him? See the guy is sweating, oh. And what's he saying? Finish him off. Correct. Target his face.
You are doing well.
You are doing well. You can do it. More grease. Rush him. These people are being genuine. More grease. No, look at it. Finish him. Rush him. Target his face. Yes. We've watched movies.
He's tired.
He's tired. Thank you. He's tired. Finish him off. We'll come back to this because we are going to come back to the classroom. Those of you saying it with energy, I hope you are not the kind when two children are fighting. You separate them. Because you know this one is always looking for your trouble. After you said there is no fighting allowed in this class. All right, and here we see the same thing. You can do it. 3 more minutes, just hang in there. Target him, he's getting weak. Don't relax. And here, most likely just cheering them, encouraging. You can get that it's about to start. Or sometimes just that you got this message. Many times though, let me go back a little bit. We are like coaches. Rediscovering the role of teaching, think of yourself as a coach. Sometimes the coach has to get in there with the players. He has to be right there. So in scaffolding at the beginning, you are right there with them. Saying, let me show you, this is what you need to do. This is this, and that is that. Sometimes you are stretching them, challenging them, and telling them they can do it. Or sometimes just checking, are you okay? Are you on track? Can you handle more? Sometimes we are telling them, what are we telling them to finish off? It's not their fellow classmates. What are we telling them to finish off? The work, exams. You have most students who develop exam anxiety, assessment anxiety. And what you want to do is tell them you can do it. It's fine. You have the ones who say they are tired. That one that they just wrote, the score is not good. In fact, they are not writing again. And you're telling them it's just 2 more papers. Or the child who breaks down, the student who breaks down right there in the hall. Why? I read, I can't remember anything. And you as an invigilator and an educator, you can't give them the answers, but you can tell them, just relax. Did you study? Yes. Then calm down. Breathe. Wash your face. Breathe. Make dua. So this is what you do. And sometimes just before the work begins, you give a pep talk. And sometimes even as the class work is going on, you are giving a pep talk. I remember once in one of my classes, I had started, about 2 years ago, I started stretching the students. I started taking them into fiqh of Islam, Islamic perspective, to help them understand how fiqh principles actually apply to our everyday lives. Not just ibadah, but mu'amalat. So it requires a lot of sitting down and thinking, and trying to think this principle applies to this context, how, and writing. So I did what coaches do. They stay on the sidelines sometimes. So I stood back and I watched the groups. And I watched body language. Who was engaged? Who was detached? Who was looking fed up and just looking around the room like, oh, God, have mercy. So I found one such boy. And I walked up to him. I said, thinking is hard. Bah. He said, wallahi. I said, sorry, but that's part of growing up. I said, you're in JS3 now, almost 14. I said, it's part of it. Sorry. Then I just gave a few hints on how to continue. So sometimes that's what you do. Then many times, just get out of the way. Let them walk. If you supported them enough, get out of the way. We see those coaches, bah. Like this coach now. Right now, he's sweating. His team is there. He's not playing, but he's sweating. He has high BP. There's pressure. But he knows right now he needs to get out of the way, let them work. The teacher's role is like a coach, and we've talked about that. Today, your students are surrounded by technology. So there's abundance of content and there's access to content. If they are day students, or if you work in a school where phones are allowed, your students can catch you right in the middle of your tian, your lie, your mistake. They ask you one question. As you are giving an answer, the student is already checking. Sheikh Google, Dr. Google, Professor Google, is it true? And Google will probably say, no. And then the student whispers to the next. And then you're asking, why are you whispering? Nothing, sir. So we have work to do. Become more of a designer of the learning pathway, the curator of resources. Do your research. Understand that you no longer have to tell them everything. If they can read, if they can make sense of content, then there's a lot you can present them with, then get out of the way, let them work. Sometimes you have to partner with the English language teachers and say you've taught them comprehension, you've taught them essay writing, summary, paragraphing, yes. Okay, I want them to read this and make sense of it. Can you help me guide them? Becoming a designer reduces your cognitive wahala. Ultimately, what we are looking for is to make sure the learner receives the content, can process the content, can engage with it, and can make connections with what they already know. This part is where we start talking about previous knowledge. Many of us don't understand the importance, the strength of previous knowledge. Any new information you give anybody, their brain, as it receives that information, will start searching its own archives for what is like this information, so it can attach it. If it can't attach it, the information floats and is easily lost. I said scaffolding, only 2 people said they know what it is. I described it, almost everybody said, hey, we know it. And it was therefore easier for me to explain scaffolding in education. Ultimately, we want them to take content beyond the context of the learning activity. We want them to take it into real life. In my talk in the hall yesterday, this is what I was saying we'll try and break down. Whatever you're doing in the classroom, you want the roots of learning to go deeper. So you want them to take it into real life. And that is what we now want to spend some time talking about. We love the classroom. We can control distractions. We can create immersion where you make the students really enter the lesson itself. We can also help learners focus. So you shut the door, you tell people to sit down, sit properly. You bring all the resources into one place. Classrooms are great for that. But classrooms should be like an incubation center. So the learning should not start and stop in the classroom. You have to design it so that it goes outside the room into real life. In real world surroundings, when they go into real life, what you would ordinarily call distractions are no longer distractions, they become attractions. So I'm going to show you learning moving into real life and how what you would ordinarily call distractions are not distractions at all. Okay, I think we'll just have to sharpen our ears a little bit. Can you hear what sounds like machines going on? So that's noise. If you look carefully at the video, on this particular day it was raining. So the floor was filled with water. It was quite wet. I think there was a boy who even used the water to wash his feet. If you look at this scene, if you are teaching agriculture in a classroom, you don't want mud in your class. If rain is entering your classroom, that is a horrible classroom. But on a farm, it's normal. There was even a part in the video where one boy protested, "Sir, there's water everywhere." And the man said, "Hey, it's farm now." Now, what we had to do, that first group you saw on the farm were actually agric students. So they were taking something they had learned in class, they took it to the farm. They made the heaps, they planted the seeds themselves. That day, they were actually planting. They did the weeding. Unfortunately, they couldn't do the harvesting before they went home. But they took everything from the classroom to the farm. We then brought in another group, press club members, using skills they had acquired through English language class and through the press club, which is run by English language and Hausa language teachers. And we told them, go to the farm and interview people. So they were leaving the classroom setting and going to real life. Journalists interview people. They go to where people are and interview them. They don't write down, this is how you interview people, then say, I'm not a journalist. So we were making them do what real journalists do. Let's just listen to a short clip. Now again, see people walking in the background, but that's not a distraction. It's actually an attraction. Because now this student feels like he's really interviewing people. It's not pretense work. What we even used to tell them before they go for things like this, we'll say, do you remember newscasters? They said yes. Journalists, yes. When they're interviewing people, you see people walking up and down behind them. They said yes. We said then that's normal. So we are teaching them what people call distraction is an attraction, or not even a distraction. This one is the case of the fire service invited our students to set up a fire service club. So we selected students to go. Then we called the press club members and said, go along and interview people there. And this is a short clip.
Good morning. This is Kaja Salah reporting live for Press Club. We are here at the Niger State Fire Service Safety Club inauguration. It's a beautiful morning.
Good. Now I would like to show you a collection of students doing different things. Some have to do with cooking. Some have to do with woodwork. Again, giving examples of how you scaffold and how students get immersed, even when it's not a classroom setting. They are going to make throw pillows. Scaffolding is the breaking down of the process for them. From first drawing the pattern on paper, then drawing it on cloth, using tailor's chalk, or pencil first, then tailor's chalk when the teacher says it's okay, to drawing the lines carefully, then the slow stitching. And at a point when they start to pull the threads to get that rumpled or ruffled look we see on throw pillows. What we found very gratifying about this work was both boys and girls were interested. They would work for about an hour, 30 minutes non-stop. And even when we say time up, the facilitator is saying go, they don't want to go. But if you sit them down and you're telling them to copy notes on how to smoke, how to rule, after 20 minutes, they're already looking for excuses to stop working. So you can get full engagement once you ask yourself, how do I design it to dip them in? Yes, you will still have to do the boring classroom part. But we are saying start in the class, then extend it outwards. Last one I want to show is Public Speaking Club, where they started off saying they want to learn public speaking. So they joined the club. But something we deliberately did was That same thing I talked about yesterday and I repeated today. You will take curriculum-based learning, ideas, concepts, content. You will attach it to skills. Then you will ask yourself, so how does this benefit everybody else? What value do I give to other people? When they were deciding what will they present, we said you choose what you will present. Autonomy. You decide. We give you the skills, but you decide. However, whatever you are presenting, there should be a message that is worth it for people. So one boy wrote a piece using knowledge from history class, the history of Nigeria. But he was talking about hope for Nigeria. So he brought history to public speaking and then presented this. So let's listen.
In the Nigeria of my dreams, corruption and neocolonialism have been eradicated.
In the Nigeria of my dreams, insecurity and terrorism have been cut down by justice.
In Nigeria of my dreams, there are good roads, constant, undisrupted electricity supply.
In the Nigeria of my dreams, the Yoruba man, the Hausa man, and the Igbo man will call one another brother.
In the Nigeria of my dreams, the child of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody.
Now what we keep talking about is going from the classroom outside and giving value. For many of us, this is not a prospect we enjoy because it's scary. It's uncertain. You can't predict how it will turn out. So the work for us as people, a boy with several challenges he was trying to walk through, but became very interested in woodwork and made a stool. And if you look carefully, he's actually sitting on top of the stool. It's a tire wrapped with foam, then with fabric and given legs. Why we like this one is this is a picture of full focus and concentration. Without threats, without promise of grades or anything. This is ungraded work. There is no score. It's just make this thing. Now, what we always are worried about is how will it turn out? You as a teacher, you have to work on your own mind. You need to embrace fear. Embrace the possibility that you will make mistakes and see opportunity in every obstacle and possibility in every problem. Also, you have to believe in students' inherent curiosity and readiness to learn. We should stop saying they are lazy. They will not do it. They cannot do it. Naturally, as human beings, we are curious. Our job is to try and spark the curiosity. We have to expose the students to ideas, people, places, events. That's why we show them videos. We take them on excursions. Sometimes the excursion is within the school itself. We also have to provide samples of excellence. I've talked about that already. Then challenge them to make connection on their own between the content and what they know. Give them autonomy, let them choose. Guide them by sorting out the essentials. As I said, there's so much to know. They know what comes before what. The challenge is our comfort zone or students' comfort zone. They're already used to this way of learning. Why are you asking us to do it differently? You need to explain why. Encourage them. Then look for the knowledge or the skill or the understanding that they lack, so you support that. The results are slower this way and are not always clear. Because when you tell them 2 plus 2, they say it's 4. It's correct, it's not correct. Essay writing, is either the paragraphs are well done or not well done. But now you say, go interview somebody. How do you grade that? Go plant on a farm. How do you grade that? That is the work for us to do. Sometimes the challenge is, how do I prove to my head of department or the principal, or how does the school prove to the ministry that the students are learning? So we say, document your progress. Video, audio recording, take photographs. Let students defend what they've done. Let them explain themselves. Let them make presentations. We also worry that, are we not deviating from the curriculum? Or we say, where is the time to do this? If you do what we did in some cases, you are actually using content from curriculum to work. In other cases, you can make it an extracurricular activity, like the clubs, or supracurricular, meaning it is present in everything they do. Sometimes we say the resources are not enough. Use what is in your environment. Always, as teachers, become a designer, become an innovator, use what is in your environment. Finally, what is the point of education? It's to liberate, expand, develop, and stretch the mind. It's actually to improve the human condition. Now, if we believe that learning, teaching and learning only happen in a classroom, then we are confining the mind. We are putting the mind in a box. Our job, hopefully, when we confine students' learning to the content, what's in the textbook, to the classroom, to examinations and their scores, then we are putting them in a box instead of on a field. We remember the example, the story from yesterday. And here is the field. When we do that, we bend the mind, making it believe they've arrived when they've only just begun. I wrote an exam, I've arrived. No, you just started. The real thing for us is to challenge our own minds, study beyond our degree or area, explore related and unrelated subjects. Maths teachers go and do some work with visual art. English language teachers go and study physics a bit more, learn something more. When you then return to your core subject, you will see your mind has stretched. You will no longer look at it the same way, and you'll be more innovative. Let's challenge what it means to teach and what it means to learn. May you find treasures in every field that you explore with your students. Ameen. Jazakumullahu khairan kathira. Thank you.